This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Reverend Icilda Noteman was my godmother, and today I will share a life lesson with you that she taught me. She indirectly taught me this lesson. And the other day I was saying to Jody, and we both just broke down, I said, man, I wish I would have shared this back to her before now, at least when I saw her last. It was many years ago, was my birthday. I was turning 6 years old, and I was back there, and I ran up to her and I said, it's my birthday coming up. And she said, okay, what would you like for your birthday? And I said, and I and she said, okay, here's what you're gonna do. Go home and write down all the things that you want for your birthday. And I said, okay, never heard that before. So I ran down the stairs, I went home. That day I didn't even think I wanted to do anything else, just run home, and I started writing that whole week. Every day I came home from school, I got out my notepad, and I added to the list. Now this list got long, every possible thing. But what I recognized in that moment now as an adult, the lesson that she taught me then was to sit and think about what you want in life. I sat on my veranda and I thought, and when I say I wrote, people, I wrote. TV, Dolly House, Ken, every possible thing that I could write on this list. And I remember I would cross-check the list by showing it to Mommy, and Mommy, I could tell that Mommy is like, oh God, this is not, this. But as a child and so impressionable, I took her literal at her word, and I wrote everything that I wanted. And I sat, and for the first time in my life, I had to ask myself, Shauna, what do you want? I never asked myself that before. No one ever asked me that before. And the lesson that I learned is to this very day, the house that I live in now, the car that I drive, the business that I have, every possible thing about my life started from me saying, what do you want? I remember I would sit down and say, okay, I want this many bedrooms, that many bathrooms, and everything would manifest in its divine order. I did not know at 6 years old that she was instilling in me how to dream. So I took my list. The following Sunday, I went to church, handed her my list. I said, here you go, you asked for it, you got it. And she opened the list and she looked at it and she said, okay, go down this list. And she handed me an envelope. It was sealed. And she said, okay, this is for you, but don't open it until you get home. And I said, okay. I was so excited. I didn't open it until I get home, but that Sunday, I also didn't want any festival. I was so happy to go home. I was like, I don't need to go back there to get the festival. I just want to go home so I can open this envelope. Now, at 6, I went home, and I opened the envelope. And I'm not aging myself here, but this was during the time when nanny was a thing. So if you know the old $500 bills, we call them nanny. And for a 6-year-old, I opened that envelope, and it was the most nannies I saw in my life. I saw nannies for days. I was like, this lady is loaded. I said, I cheered and said, hats off to my mother. She picked the best godmothers for me. I thought they were. And I was shocked, but I also felt like, okay, she trusts me to just give me the actual resource. She's not gonna buy the thing and give it to me. I say that today to share with you that my godmother directly and indirectly taught me how to dream. She taught me how to sit down and ask myself, what do you want? Write it down. And as I got older and I started to dream and do other things, I stumbled upon write the vision and make it plain. She was teaching me something that I didn't even know I needed to learn. And so today, I will impart with you all the lesson that she taught me that I can honestly say single-handedly brought me so much success in so many ways. Go home. This is everybody's homework assignment for today. You go home and you get your notepad and you sit and you think first. Think about what do you want. Ask yourself that question. What do you want? And then you write that down. Now, whether or not your fairy godmother is going to bring you an envelope with nannies, I don't know that. But the first assignment is to actually think it through and know what it is that you want. And I learned that from Minister Noteman. And I made a joke earlier this year in June when I was talking to her, when it was her birthday. I said, so now the time is coming up close for me to give you like about 70 nice, because you're getting up there. And she said, you remember that? I said, yes, I always remember that, because not for the value of what it is, the long-term value of what it taught me and my children and my business. Everything that I do now starts with me saying, Shauna, write down what you want. And she was the first person to have ever done that, or even allowed me to expand my mind enough to know that I can simply just write a vision and make it that plain that it will manifest itself for me. So today, may her soul rest in sweet, sweet peace. And she was the most amazing person to just be around and to call and to talk to. And I'm grateful to have known her, to have loved her, and to have her as my godmother. She actually picked me, but nonetheless, I trust and hope that from that lesson that she taught me, that you will take from that lesson as well and write your own vision and make it plain. And when you do, remember her. God bless you.